Hey, what's up, guys? Zach Parker here. Just wanted to, come forward and fulfill my promise to start reading some chapters. Today, we're going to read over chapter 1, which is entitled "Perspective" of my book, Life Changer: Success in Life is a Matter of Perspective, which is something that I truly believe. So today, we're going to read over that chapter, and then I'm going to make another video where I sort of go a little bit more in depth about what I was trying to get at. So, chapter 1, Perspective, and this has been edited a little bit here and there. I've made a couple edits, but I guess that's a book. So, perspective. Upon opening our eyes each morning, perspective is the first thing to which we are introduced. By definition, perspective is a particular attitude toward or way of regarding something. It is how we perceive things, both visually and mentally. Simply put, perspective is our point of view. With this being understood, our reactions to the things that happen to us and around us are strongly influenced by our perspectives. Most of the time, our perspectives at the beginning of the day has enormous power over how the rest of the day is going to play out. We often hear the expression, "I woke up on the wrong side of the bed." When we start our day with a negative outlook, we tend to continue along that path. This is one of the many reasons it is beneficial to consciously cultivate a positive perspective. Once applied, it is something that can bring about impactful and positive changes that will improve your quality of life. It is important to understand where you are mentally and to then make the decision to change that perspective for the better. My intention here is not to present you with some fantasy that every day can be nothing but endless bliss simply because you decide to change your perspectives. I am only hoping to share what I have learned and benefited from in my short time in this world. The information in these pages is what has helped me to have more joy and success in my life. That's why I'm sharing it with you. I believe that we would all love to have more good days. As a result of being intentional about having positive and having a realistic perspective, I've been able to improve my life significantly. The more effort we can put into enjoying the day we have before us, the more good days we will ultimately have. The great news is that you don't necessarily have to give up anything. You must only work at developing a healthier perspective. For the past several years, I have worked in an outpatient physical therapy clinic. Most of the people I see are recovering from corrective surgery. I can tell you a couple things that I have learned during my time in this field. One is that a positive mental perspective makes all the difference in the world, even when discussing healing and progressive strengthening of the physical body. When I am just getting to know a patient and I realize that they are a hard-working person with a positive mental attitude, it makes my day. Not because they will be easier to work with, but because they possess more of an opportunity for positive change. The positive expectation of their goals directly impacts their potential as well as the outcome. Unfortunately, I have also observed that the opposite is true. Individuals who think negatively, are lazy, or have a sense of entitlement almost always struggle. This is the victim mindset. They feel that their circumstances have been thrust upon them unjustly or that their desired goals will somehow achieve themselves. Some people think that everything will be okay just because they deserve positive results as much as anyone else, but without the effort. Maybe they do deserve it, but the attitude of entitlement is in no way a guarantee of positive results. For the most part, these attitudes become self-fulfilling prophecies. The person who is ready to do whatever it takes to get back to their previous quality of life will usually accomplish their goals. Reversely, the person who actively avoids the process and doesn't want to participate in the struggles of their own life is typically going to struggle and continue to experience hardship. This is true for these individuals while being treated, and it will continue to be true in other areas of their life if a change in perspective is not made. It is their perspective that makes all the difference. I often find myself working with someone who complains of the intense pain associated with a total knee replacement. These individuals usually do experience a great deal of pain. They complain, worry, and doubt their ability to get through the rehabilitation process. I encourage them with the fact that we are in an age of medical miracles. I explain that in the past, those who had the same joint issues didn't have the option for joint replacement. They simply had to learn to live with the pain and make the best of their situation. I share with my patients how lucky they are to be alive at this time. Instead of just a burden, I try to convince them to see their situation as an excellent opportunity for positive change. I tell them that nothing worth having in this life comes without hard work, and that they now have clear goals to focus on. I do whatever I can to evoke a positive change in their perspective. Sometimes it works. I get to witness the transformative effects that a change in perspective can have on an individual. I've seen adults go from negative state of mind filled with self-pity and anger to a mindset filled with drive, purpose, and an appreciation for positive change and personal growth. It is at this point that things begin to change for these individuals. Other times, I am working with someone who acts like the victim of a heartless crime. They have excuses galore. These individuals focus more of their energy on trying to find someone to blame rather than focusing on the present and developing a better understanding of what it will take to overcome their circumstances. They prolong their own suffering by looking for an easy way out, but it does not exist. The advantage between these two very distinct perspectives goes to the individuals who decide to see their situation as an opportunity for positive change and personal development. The decision to then follow up with action is what really sets some people apart and attributes to their success. These benefits are not just limited to these circumstances, so never forget that they can be applied to almost all other aspects of life. There is no limit to the benefits that a change of perspective can offer us, even in the worst of environments. Sometimes we may just have to accept that what we are going through could be happening to us so that we can learn from the experience and one day use that knowledge to help someone that we find in a similar situation. I'm going to read that one more time. Sometimes we may just have to accept that what we are going through could be happening to us just so that we can learn from the experience and one day use that knowledge to help someone that we find in a similar situation. I know that can be a difficult viewpoint to acquire, but it is generally true. It's all a matter of how you decide to see it. Your struggle may never benefit you in a way that you can fathom, but there may come a day when what you learn may help someone else more than you will ever be able to understand. As you continue to read this book, you will begin to understand more about how this philosophy can work for you. If you adopt it and apply it to your life, you may never again see yourself as dealing with a bad situation. If you are willing to consistently put the effort in and be conscious of how you let your life affect you, then you will be able to approach these situations with the understanding that something positive can be gained from them. The influence of others on our perspective is paramount and should not be underestimated. We all inhabit this world together. We experience and are affected by the actions and opinions of the good, the bad, and the ugly that surround us. Those who are closest to us can have profound effects on us, and this effect is not always for the best. Friends and family have a powerful ability to pull us into the chaos of their own lives. The poisonous perspectives and poor decision making of these people can have highly undesirable effects on our own existence if allowed. Sometimes a change in perspective regarding the people we spend our time with is much needed and justified. Toxic relationships, when looked at from the proper perspective, are quickly identified as unneeded sources of turmoil that can quickly take peace from our lives. We must assess the need to make adjustments and, if necessary, reduce or perhaps even eliminate those interactions altogether. On the contrary, we should embrace, cultivate, and grow relationships with the people in our lives that bring out the best in us and influence us in a positive manner. The more we surround ourselves with like-minded individuals, the more our way of looking at things can grow into a healthier state. Seeing the positive effects that come from interacting with like-minded individuals will promote in us the desire to be a positive influence on others as well. Understanding the impact that our outlook on life has on those around us really helps to bring home the importance of living a good life. Almost every great person who has ever brought about change in the world achieved their success by influencing others to change their perspectives. They were only able to do this by first attaining a new perspective themselves. Are we any better? Can we hope to be a positive influence on the world around us without being open to and seeking out change for ourselves? These are important questions that we should all consider. When discussing active consideration of a change in perspective, we have to understand that before these changes can take place, there is always a pivotal moment where we are exposed to a stimulus. In this instant, we either consciously or unconsciously experience a change in our overall perspective. These changes have happened throughout our entire lives. For the most part, these are passive changes. We subconsciously adapt to our circumstances. Slowly, they mold our worldviews and contribute to who we are as individuals. As any psychologist will tell you, our environment holds enormous sway over who we are and what we will inevitably become. For some, however, there is eventually a day, very much like today, when we begin to actively consider what things we allow into our lives and how they contribute to who we are becoming and how we view the world. That process starts when we take control through making intentional changes in our perspective. It is through a deliberate shift in perspective that we are able to achieve rapid positive change. For example, if someone close to you dies, it can be a time of severe confusion, pain, and very often regret. These emotions can quickly create a perspective that most of us have experienced but very few desire. Times like this can be transformed into tools of wisdom when we practice active consideration and control of our perspective. We can use times like these to help us realize how precious life is, not just our own lives, but the lives of the people we love and care for. By making an effort to change the way we see death, we could potentially transform those helpless feelings into a guiding light. It's all just a matter of perspective. The lesson here is that there is nothing useful to be found. There is something useful to be found in every circumstance. Author Napoleon Hill put it this way: every adversity carries with it the seed of equivalent benefit. Although these benefits can be hard to see and even harder to appreciate, if you are diligent, the benefits received from less desirable situations become great assets as life moves forward. Traits such as humility and patience can be some of the most powerful characteristics that a person could ever hope to develop. Actively seek out these characteristics and make an effort to develop and cultivate them within yourself. You will benefit much more than a person who does not. It is only through the proper perspective that we seek out positive change and allow ourselves to achieve some of the greatest gifts of all. We are able to accelerate the accumulation of understanding and wisdom. This mental gold is usually reserved for our elders. They possess it because of all the lessons that their life's experiences has taught them. In this way, our elders do deserve our respect. However, sometimes because of a lifetime of experiences that were guided by a warped perspective, They lack the wisdom that many associate with their age. This unfortunate type of life spent harvesting the fruit of a misguided perspectives manifests in the form of bitterness, disgust, and often anger. If you find yourself harvesting these unwanted fruits, then stop, take a deep breath, and remember that you have the power. You have the power to act preventatively. I want you to understand that all that is required of you is a simple decision, made consistently, to have the perspective of a student. Just study life, and I can promise you that you will learn. Start today. Don't expect anything to be easy. That's just not life. However, you can plan for things to change and become much less complicated. Prepare yourself through active consideration of your perspective as you pass through your days, and I can promise you that very soon you will begin to develop a whole new perspective. That's chapter 1 of my book. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a while since I've read it, and I think it's probably going to help me in my day tomorrow. My wife and I are going to go and take an ultrasound and look at my little girl. She is about a little less than, maybe about 2 months away, 2 months and a week or something. So we're going to go have a look at her and see how she's doing, and hopefully have a great day. I hope you guys are having a good one too. God bless you, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.